then the role went to Steven Berkoff. In my opinion, the better choice, and is just phenomenally evil. Especially when you get to Morel's incarnation of his character. You know, thinking about that now, in comparison, it would have clashed greatly with Rocky IV. You know, maybe would have taken away from Drago's menace, especially when you see how that character was really intended to be. And they only graze that in the movie with that classic scene, watch another show. But it's all good, and, you know, we still got Red Scorpion, right? The Russian Rambo. And that is fucking stellar as well. So, like I said before, John Travolta was originally contracted to be cast as Rambo's sidekick. But, a little extra trivia here. Not many people know this, but John Travolta was at one time asked and considered to play Rambo himself, John J. Rambo in First Blood. So if you can imagine John Travolta as Rambo, wow, welcome back, Cotter. And going back to Berkoff's character really briefly, we're gonna get to how crazy menacing he is when we're gonna get to the Rambo of the Apes David Morrell review. I could give it away now, but, you know, we gotta save some awesome stuff for that. Even though that's a misprint, that's a retraction, because Rambo of the Apes review is completely awesome without giving away too much. But it gives out most of it, but really on the top of the surface, you know, nothing really below. So it will be full of spoilers, but not the execution behind the spoilers, if that makes any sense. Like with the First Blood review, we tried to go all in. In this one, we're trying to save some type of mystery for you guys at home, especially since First Blood Part 2 is returning to bookstores this month, and that's another reason why David Morrell was with us to talk about the book. So, yeah, when we get to Podofsky, Victor Maitland, when we get to the Rambo First Blood Part 2 novelization, Rambo of the Apes, you're going to be terrified. This is a plot twist that that will leave you speechless, and it made me rather speechless. So, moving on, it's time to talk making history, making this wonderful movie. So they filmed Rambo First Blood Part 2 in Mexico. My cousin Francis actually went to the torture hut in Acapulco years ago, and I saw a recent interview with Sly from last year, or maybe it was this year, early this year, where he was giving an interview and talking about returning as Rambo for Rambo 5, and he was just down the river from that location while they were giving the interview, so it was pretty cool. And we'll be looking deeper into this section of the making of when we get to Season 3, because we're going to cover all the trilogy documentaries, everything in the box set. And, you know, amazing stories with the deleted code death scene, you know, Rambo screaming, "No!" You know, talk about giving away your location. You know, awesome stories. You know, just briefly, like the mountains of Cosmotis cigars outside the editing room. The snake and scorpion battles and bugs on a constant basis in the rain, and pieces falling off of helicopters decapitating trees, and building rice paddies, and growing the elephant grass, and you know, partying it up, you know, in the night in Acapulco, the cast and crew partying it up, and Charles Napier being asked by the army for Sly to visit. You know, if not, the electricity would be cut off. All over that fucking giant styrofoam Buddha. You know, talking about the archery. There's tons of stuff to get to when we get to that. And they filmed a lot of it outside, like, the Mexican air base and local jungles. You know, all the vehicles' symbolic flags were removed. replaced and replastered to look like American military vehicles. Yeah, just like they tried to make water buffalo. They tried to hang like antlers on cows and just insane stuff. Krenna apparently pantsed Sly during a Maria Shriver interview. Literally pulled his pants down while he was getting interviewed on camera. And Sly got him back with a cream pie to the face. Not that type of cream pie. Apparently, there was a lot of mud fights and monkeying around, and they even got hit in the eye of a typhoon, like one of the biggest typhoons in years, that wiped out all of the roads and destroyed stuff on the set. And, it pretty much stranded them there. They didn't have a lot of huts to blow up at the end of the movie, so they recycled a lot of them. Like they took the debris, flopped it all together, and blew up that. Apparently a stuntman died on set. I wonder if it's the one that falls off the cliff after the arrow strike in the hunting montage. The film's in dedication to Cliff Wanger Jr. It was the first film played in over 20,000 cinemas, and was banned, unfortunately, in the Soviet Union. So that's a pretty big number. I know Stephen Chang was telling us that the first movie was broadly introduced like that too, one of the first films in China. But there's a lot more on that when we get to it, and I don't think anyone could have really anticipated the critical reception of the film when it was received. Yep. Big as bigger itself. But now, you can't have a great Rambo sequel without a great Rambo soundtrack. Which we'll also talk about in Season 3. A lot of them actually, we'll be talking about all of them, saving Brian Tyler's addition for Season 4 when we get to Rambo 4. But, Jerry Goldsmith is just at the top of his game here. Each soundtrack just gets better and better. This one is phenomenal and instantly imports you, back into that universe. Exciting, haunting, sad, and everything is one of the best film scores, period, in my opinion, period. I've had it stuck in my head ever since the day I started this show. And Jerry Goldsmith is just a god when it comes to this. With the loss of Goldsmith, I really do believe we lost probably the best composer of all time. Hans Zimmer is catching up to that mantle, but there'll never be another Jerry. Honestly, never. I know his son does a lot of great scoring, took over a lot of his roles, and Brian Tyler's taken over a lot of the scored properties. But yeah, there's just only one Jerry. There's just one, and he's been such a great inspiration to me, all my life and working in music, and he just brings that extra realism and that extra surrealness, and he really makes the universe. He really does touch you and has a touch on the universe, and it's like the Midas touch. Whatever he touches turns to gold, and this is definitely gold. And the kids today, they don't get it. They have no fucking respect for nothing unless it's fucking Katy Perry or Lady Gaga or fucking cunt ass Justin Bieber fucking bullshit. But yeah, this soundtrack sometimes gets a lot of ridicule because of the synthesizer, a lot of the synthesizer play to it. With that, that gets a really bad rap. A lot of people make fart jokes about it and shit like that. But it's the fucking, it's fucking synth, right? So, I think it works really well. It almost sounds like an electronic rattlesnake sometimes. So, this is definitely underrated to the newer viewer, but the classic viewer, like many of us are, this is gold. It's like the Holy Grail. good old brother to Sly, Frank Stallone, also teams up with Jerry Goldsmith, sort of, on Peace in Our Life, which, is the closing credit soundtrack piece. So, the great Frank Stallone team up with Jerry Goldsmith, that must have been amazing to witness in the studio. That just must have been amazing. Probably one of the highlights of Frank Stallone's career. I have to admit, I like the Dan Hill song better, and the Kenny Loggins one as well, his cover. But great job by Frank, just the same here. This single sold millions and helped to make Frank Stallone a household name. And it really does give us a look into the psychological side of Rambo, his beliefs and his journey from the beginning to the end of the film. And I think that's one of the things that rings true about that song, is that it really does display what Rambo says to Troutman at the end of the movie. So great job, Frank. That's a classic. That's a classic number. Regarding those amazing early bird trailer promotional videos, one of the cool things about this sequel is the very James Cameron-ish looking trailers. I believe these started promotional circulation almost a year before the movie, and it hyped everyone. Like, everyone went crazy over these trailers. It was like the fucking Rambo invasion. Parts of this that obviously never made it into the movie reminded me of the power loader scene from Aliens a lot. Where Rambo's gearing up and Ripley's gearing up, and Rambo comes out of the fog, and Ripley's gearing up to battle the Queen. Sly looks a lot younger too in these trailers. You could tell it maybe coming off of the last movie he did, and his hair is a lot longer between these trailers that were displayed and his hair in the movie. And so he looks a lot younger, and they could have played this look off for a prequel nod. Like I said earlier, there was a lot that they should have capitalized on but never did. But I love all these trailers. They're just beautiful. Morrell even informed me, like in First Blood, that it was the last film to use Technicolor. So it has a very, it was very special. It has a very special look. And you really need to notice the difference, the difference. Well, you'll notice the difference even more once you hit Rambo 3. They really changed it up again, going full digital for Rambo 3, like the look in Rambo 3. So that's pretty cool, and that's only something I just noticed after Morrell told me. I always noticed that there was a special look to it, but it never hit me that was produced by Technicolor. Just like it never hit me that First Blood. Well, First Blood I knew was in Technicolor, but it didn't dawn on me until Morrell told me about the Technicolor aspect for Rambo First Blood Part 2. And, you'll really notice the change up when Rambo 3 comes in, of that new era of technology and filmmaking. Just like you'll notice in Rambo 4, because they change it up again, going full digital for Rambo 4. Really full digital. So when I said full digital before for Rambo 3, I meant to say full digital for Rambo 4.